Hey guys, welcome to the Max today. If you're new to our channel, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell so that way you can see what's always going on here. You can see we got stuff everywhere. But the focus today was kind of making sure all the gardens are looking good. These are our spring field peas, basically all right here, and also some butter beans. We love those things because we can put them up. Part of what we do is prepping. We want to make sure that we are taking care of our family, and peas are some of the easiest thing, and beans are some of the easiest things to grow that last all year, especially if we freeze them or can them. So that is what that main bed is there. And then we do some organic fertilization to our tomato beds right here. Also, our potatoes and onions are looking great. All right, you pulled some carrots?
Yes, a lot.
Good, that looks good.
Taylor will love them.
Yeah, we'll be able to take this bed now and re-rake it, put some more compost on it, and put something else in here.
These are small. I didn't pick them.
It's okay. We'll kind of get rid of those. Give them to the chickens. So our carrots were ending up, we don't plant a lot of carrots. We only plant literally half a bed. It's like a 4x4 spot because nobody eats them but me and Sayla. Miss Mac eat them every once in a while, but you can see. Huh?
Put them in some soup.
Yeah, we'll put them in like soups and stuff. So you see the potatoes are kind of getting to the point of getting ready to harvest. These potatoes did not do well. It was a new bed. So we did do a little organic fertilization on them. That's what this bag is some 444 organic fertilization. Basically trying to get them on up a little bit before we harvest. They may not come up, they may not do anything. That bed really is brand new. So we really may not have a good luck this year with it. All our winter lettuce is starting to go to seed, which is good. We'll harvest these seeds. We've got great videos on some of our seed saving measures, and so you see all the lettuces that are going to seed that we were not able to eat. We had a great harvest this year. Also, we have some garlic going to seed, and we'll keep that. Also, seed saving is another monster step for us to take for sustainability. This potato bed is doing pretty good, and so is this one. This one had a little fungus right here that we could not contain, so we will give this to the chickens. Remember, nothing is waste. It's either for the pigs and chickens if it's not for us. So that's the only side that really didn't do well. Of course, our no-till garden is doing great. We're adding more soil. As you remember, we're trying to go all the way down in all this spot here, and this will all be one big monster back to Eden style gardening that will go on 12 months out of the year. Strawberries are looking good. Smaller onions are doing okay still. Let's check the greenhouse. Moringa is doing phenomenal. It's coming back from last year. This is some of Misty's elderberry starts that we took cuttings of. Some things going to seed, such as some of the basil. Yeah, everything looks good in here. I might need a water. This is going to seed too. This is some parsley that Misty has going to seed. Those are from one raspberry bush, y'all. One raspberry bush we took and dug up the little saplings, and basically replanted them, and they've all done excellent. So the whole point of me starting this video, kind of dealing with our gardens and all, is to tell you about organic fertilization. So we use things like from Whitney Farms organic bone meal, but here is our biggest two things, and we have a video on it, is let's see if we can find it right here, fish fertilization. That is huge for us. We get the Omri listed fully organic fish fertilizer. It works wonders here. We love it. It tends to push a good bit of slow release nitrogen, so we do it all year round. It doesn't burn, so make sure you're using fish emulsion or liquid kelp. I've got some liquid kelp right there that we are finishing up on. It smells terrible. I'm not gonna lie, it stinks, but it is phenomenal for your plants. We also got to fix one of the waterers for the pigs. Since we've adopted so many pigs, we need some more waterers. Making some waterers. I've got all the things that we use. We link our Amazon store in the cart, and we have a section dealing with pigs and watering and all the stuff that you need to do that. So we've got to get these ready. Also, I bought another poultry net, so that way we have it. I'm not fond of chickens, as y'all know, and we're fixing to kill off one set, but we have the permaculture chickens that are growing up. We've got 50 little birds here. Some of those are black sex links, goodness, Jersey Giants, some good dual purpose birds. Some of our turkeys and ducks, they're hatching out. So we have a lot going on. So the main thing is making sure that we have enough nets for them. So we're running about 12 to 15 nets now because we're using some for the cows, some for the sheep. So we need enough, of course, for the chickens. That's the whole purpose of them. The one thing I like about the poultry nets is the poultry nets are high enough to help do the cows and sheep, but not be to where we're having to buy sheep nets, cattle fencing, and all that. Sometimes when we can't do temporary fencing for like poly tape for the cattle, those nets work great. This barrel was actually already out there, but you see it started leaking because they broke the knob, or actually they didn't break the nipple, they broke the holder. And what it was George kind of pushed against it, trying to get water, and it was kind of empty from where Aiden just didn't get it filled that day, and it dumped over and fell and landed right on that nipple right there. So we've got to take this one apart, fix it. As you see, we try to go about 12 to 18 inches up. That's plenty big enough to make sure we got tons of water in here, but also allows it to hold enough in here to where typically they can't dump it over. He just happened to this time. We just need a little more, just a little time for you and I. So stay. You've got, of course, the coupling. This coupling comes with everything you need, such as the washers, the little rubber gasket washers, and also the nut and the bolt itself. All this is basically to hold your nipple in. So if you're buying a 1/2 inch nipple, which is what we have right here, you have to have a way to put it in there. So what we do is we take this, have this, you need to take this all apart, and basically there you go. That's all you need, actually, as in the supplies that you need for your pig waterer. One of our holes done for all these buckets here. This is a 1 1/4 hole. So you need to make sure you don't dig it too big. Actually drill it too big. We usually started with 1 inch and kind of work it out ourselves by just, just taking our time with it. Because if the last thing you want to do is get that too big, and then you've got a leak in your pig waterer. Because again, if you give them just a little bit of a leak, they're going to take it and they're going to waller right under that, and then it's going to knock this over. And then of course, here you go. You got a broken nipple to feed them. So here's another option. A lot of times people say, well, these things tip over. What's another way that we can do a pig waterer? Well, I'm glad you asked. The only reason we're using these is because we have them. But I'll tell you another idea that you can use that a lot of people are using, and I think is a good hack. This is a typical cattle trough here. This is 150 gallons. I would not use this, but you can buy a 50-gallon one of these, drill your holes, and put 2 or 3 on each side, especially if you have a lot of pigs. They can't knock this over. Remember, if it's 50 gallons, you're filling it up pretty often anyway, and it allows them to suck around each edge without dumping it over. If I was having to buy buckets, which I don't because I already have them, this works fine. This is what most people use. But that actually is going to be easier because they're not going to dump it. Actually, if you're using mineral lick tubs for cattle, take some of those. Those are about 40 and 50 gallon jugs. Put one of those on it, and you've got a perfect pig waterer. And they can't dump it over because it's got a bigger base on it than what these do. So the only thing we're using, of course, is I got a 1/2 inch bit on here, but basically I'm gonna change it out for the 1 inch bit, put it on there so that way we can core out the spot for this. We've got, of course, 2 crescent wrenches to tighten it. We've got our tape and then some putty. That's all we're actually using to put these waterers on. If you're using the trough, it's no big deal, but if you're using these buckets, remember, don't put it so low that you can't get your hand in here to tighten it. So you need to be able to get your hand in here with a wrench to make sure it does tighten down. So if you put it too low, you'll never reach it, and that kind of defeats the purpose of you doing it. And don't put it too high, because then they drink only half of what your bucket size is. The whole purpose of doing things like this, these waterers, and not having little bowls, is to make farming easier and fun. And so we could fill this up, and pretty much we're not having to go back and refill it up unless some crazy situation. Most of the time, by the time it's needing to be filled up, we're removing it and actually moving them to another spot anyway. So it lasts 3 to 5 days typically. If we're filling it up again, it's because it may have fell over, which it shouldn't have, or the wind blew it, or a tree limb hit it, something like that, something crazy. Other than that, this will pretty much take care of 3 or 4 or 5 pigs over 2 or 3 days. And if we're using the other ones, this is 55 gallons. There's several people making about 30 gallons. You may be filling it up maybe once every other day. If you're using a 100-gallon tank or one of the troughs that's bigger, you probably won't even have to do that until you're actually dumping it and moving to the next place. put basically some plumber's tape around it. That helps kind of keep the water from leaking out. If you have some leaks, it's okay. I just don't like leaking because then it makes the pigs want to have a watering hole right under the water, and then that's how it dumps. The putty went on the outside, the rubber gasketed washer and the plumber's tape went on the inside. This is plastic, guys, so remember, you can't rake on it. So what we do is get it tight enough to where it starts pushing the putty out, and then I know it's good and held in there. If you keep trying to rake on it and you know, get this in here way too tight, all you gotta do is strip out this crappy plastic it's gonna leak it anyway. So it's better get it tight, get it snug, but don't over tighten plastic.
Just a little time for you and I, so stay a bit longer. Just a little time for you and I, until it's all over.
So we had one wrench inside, just a monkey wrench, and basically Crescent out here turning it, and you see how it pushed out like that? That's what I want. You're gonna have your spot here and you're tightening this as you're holding the inside. And again, all that's just working together to get it tighter. That's putting all this plumber's tape and this putty to work to where you're not gonna have a leaking pig bucket. A leaking pig waterer. A leaking pig waterer, because that is no fun. Let's say your pigs have been used to a bucket and that's how you gave them water, and you're trying to think, well, how are they gonna get used to putting their mouth around this and understand this is water? Best trick, best hack in the world. Take some peanut butter, rub around that actual nipple there. They're gonna go try it and then they'll realize that's their water. So that's another way, just a hack to say, okay, let's teach piglets to it, or let's teach pigs you know, you can't teach old dog new tricks, you really can. So this is the same thing with pigs. If you have a pig, once we clean this off, all this stuff's popped out. Once you clean it off, just put some peanut right there, peanut butter, and that will make them understand where their water is. Pre-waterer's done.